Alrighty guys, welcome back. We are watching Madoka Magica, episode 11, the penultimate episode. Man, ooh, I cannot believe we're almost done. Um, there is so much stuff that I feel like I could still talk about the last episode, which last episode we saw, Homura go through the whole timeline stuff, all that, I'm sure, likely a very memorable episode of the show. So I assume there is no forgetting what happened. Um, there was a lot of stuff that I wish I had talked about in the last discussion. Stuff like when Homura, when it was like Madoka and Homura dying side by side after they tried to beat Walpurgis Nacht, all that stuff, right? And Homura brought up the idea of them like becoming witches together and destroying the entire world and all of that. Of course, Madoka healed her with the grief seed she had left, all that. I feel like there's like some implications of that. There obviously are implications of that, and like analysis, meaningful stuff you could take from it. We will probably talk about that some in this discussion, I assume. I assume that will continue to be relevant, but I just want to point that out specifically because I think that was an important line in the last episode that I did not talk about, and I should have. So I don't know. I gotta go through it slower this time in the discussion. um, okay, I guess we're watching. I really just don't know what we're gonna do or what's gonna happen. I really like. I'm really worried about the show having a sad ending. That would make me that would devastate me. If Madoka doesn't, I love Madoka so much, and I hope she doesn't, like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We're watching episode 11 of Madoka Magica. Line up you and copy with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah. You figured it out, huh? It's like the guillotine slowly coming down. Ooh. Okay. Give it to me. Because that was always something I could not figure out. Okay. It's because. Uh huh. Sure. Makes sense. Okay. Ooh. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like, thematically, too. Like, Akami's entire world is Madoka. Hmm. Yeah. And it's like that weight is something that affects both Madoka and Homura, right? Mm hmm. Okay. Yeah. It's like a literal representation of like the way Madoka feels like she owes the world so much. You know? Maybe that does make sense. I hope you understand what I mean. Like, we'll talk about it more. I gotta read the lyrics again. The second to last time I got to see this opening, man. And yeah, I didn't talk about the opening lyrics either in the last episode, but obviously, I mean, it's like they're from Homura's perspective, right? Well, that's what's so good about it. It's like they're from Homer's perspective, but I can also tell, like that line there about the clock ticking away. That obviously applies so well to Homer's perspective, but it also like the idea of time passing and growing up, and like I feel like that's a theme that like makes a lot of sense with the show. So I love I love this opening so much. I'm gonna miss this anime. I does anyone else like get the feeling of like not wanting to finish something when you're almost done with it? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Madoka. Girl. Uh, wow. She's so it's just yeah. Man. Hmm. And that kind of makes me rethink a lot of stuff I've said about Cube and this whole heat death of the universe thing. You certainly wouldn't say, ooh, you certainly wouldn't say that like a cow is sacrificing itself for the greater good of humanity, right? Okay, well, we have to talk about it more in the discussion. I can't. Ooh, ooh, oh, it's like the chairs. It's like the chairs. I'm telling you. That's is that what? Sorry. I just like the weight of it on Madoka, you know? So like I'm just God, I'm sorry, I'm just like speechless because I'm just like trying to. Oh, well, mommy too, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess they don't even know, right? They don't even know. It. I mean, that sounds like oversimplifying it, but that actually is just like what it boils down to, right? It can be that simple. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, and it's like that's what Kyubei's doing in a way. So it just goes back to like what mommy said about not rushing into it and not, she doesn't have time. Well, Purchase Knocked is coming. Did we know her name before? Junko? Omura. Oh. And it's like I wonder like what Homura thinks now that she knows. Assuming but like Homura wants to do anything but make Madoka think she needs to. So like what does she do here? She doesn't she wants to do everything she can to avoid Madoka, feeling like she needs to make the wish, right? But like what's the solution here? But like what's the solution here? If Madoka doesn't make the wish, we can't stop all Pooch's knocked. So and Madoka is not going to accept like, oh, thousands of people are going to die just so I don't make the wish. I mean, no, you can't. Yeah, not after all this time, right? Certainly not now. Yeah, it's just, I mean, and just she must feel guilty about like what she's done to Madoka. Because it's like it's the more important Madoka is to Homura, the more Madoka will feel like she owes to the world, right? But you've known her for who knows how long, right? Everything. Yeah. Just the more disconnected she is from everything, right? I just don't think that's good for Madoka, right? Madoka can't like think about what Madoka's reaction has been to everyone fighting for her for the entire story, right? Oof. Oh wow. Madoka's not just gonna be able to sit here, obviously. Because I mean, it really is. It's just like Homura is a representation of like what Madoka feels about like what she owes the world, right? I mean, I keep saying that, but that's really is just like what it is. So the entire thing is that Madoka can't isn't happy with that, right? That's like the thing that causes her like self hatred, essentially, you know. So she's not just gonna be able to let this happen, right? It's not like that would be a good ending either. That was just like the very beginning of the first episode. What even is it? I mean, what is Walpurgisnacht, you know? Good luck. Oh, it's like she's building them all up, freezing time for each one. Oh, I wonder if she's ever managed to like damage it or do anything to it before. I also wonder if it exists for like part of the same reasons of like the time travel stuff, you know? Ah, uh, man. What is this? What are we doing? And even this ridiculous destruction, I doing it for Madoka's sake, you know. It's like think about like what Madoka would think about that, right? Oh, did it do anything to it? The storm is here. No. She shouldn't believe a word out of your mouth about anything. You. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like I wonder if Walpurgisnacht's strength is somehow tied to this weird timeline stuff too. So Walpurgisnacht will just always get stronger, so it's impossible for her to win, you know? If it's the same like fate stuff is at play with it as well. Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah. I guess it is reliant on that, you know? Just an endless struggle for your sake. So like what I mean, so is Madoka gonna try and get rid of her hope? Surely not, right? Oh, but what? Oh, oh, oh. Do you? Yeah, if she's the only one who can do it. Yeah. Are you? But like, can't beat it alone. Yeah. I mean, does it have to be her, right? I mean, can't do it alone. And I accept that it has to be Madoka. I mean, I just, you know. But like, what? But what's the solution here? I like. Okay. I mean, gotta read the lyrics. I don't know if we'll get it again. God, I just don't know. Okay, we'll talk about it in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. It's a really good episode. Um, I just, I just don't know what to think anymore. I mean, no, I do. I just feel like I am Homura. Like, you know what I mean? Surely you understand what I mean. Like, I feel like the way I'm viewing Madoka is like Homura, in the same sense that, like, I don't know what could ever happen for me to accept that it really is the best course of action for her to sacrifice herself, right, for the greater good, you know, because that's where we're headed, right? That's what's gonna happen. I'm right. That's what's gonna happen, right? Like, there's no way out of the situation we're in this story without Madoka making a wish, becoming a magical girl, doing something, right? There's not gonna be some magical loophole where Madoka can become a magical girl and not face the consequences of that. There's not gonna be some way for her to the the entire everything about the entire story essentially has been about self-sacrifice, what it means to help other people, and like the burden that you take on yourself when you help others, right? The things that Madoka wants to do to help other people, that she feels like she has a responsibility to do, and perhaps really does have a responsibility to do, are so grand and so important that I don't have any delusion at this point that we're gonna get some kind of happy ending in the sense of Madoka not being self-sacrificial in some form, right? I'm not saying specifically. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end exactly. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just obvious to me that yes, this is it, right? Madoka has made her decision. It's what we've been leading to. I mean, yeah. Well, here we will talk about it more when we get to the scene with her and her mom. Because I'm sure if you've listened to my other discussions, you know that I kind of got exactly what I've been asking for from Madoka. And the reason I'm saying it's like I feel like I am Homura is because despite having that, just like I'm sure Homura feels, it's not like I can accept that Madoka will just sacrifice herself, you know. So in that way, it feels unfair. Um, okay, well, so at the start here, we had this conversation with Cube. He tells us about like so Homura. Homura doing all of this stuff with the timelines and everything has been what has caused Madoka. Here, I gotta close Discord. Has been what has caused Madoka to become like so powerful as a magical girl, right? It's been like, I guess the way I'm interpreting it is the amount of importance that like Madoka has for Homura, right? Like I guess on like a narrative and like a thematic level, this is the way I'm viewing it. You know, like in universe, like plot mechanic stuff. Like sure, right, this isn't the actual explanation, but like thematically, this is like how I'm taking it. Is like Homura has put so much importance in Madoka, right? Like Homura essentially has sacrificed herself for Madoka. You know, like she literally says later that she has lost sight of herself. You know, that Madoka is just everything for her. You know, so it's like the threads of fate or whatever. You know, making Madoka so powerful and all of that. You know, it's like a literal in-universe representation of like the stuff that Madoka knows that the world has given her and that people around her have given her, you know, like she talks about it all the time about how like, you know, she feels like everyone around her is doing all of these things not even specifically just for her, but just for other people even, and she feels like she has a responsibility to help them, you know, to not just do nothing that she is doing in her mind, you know. Um, and it's like Homura doing all of this for her. It's like that. It's literally. It's like that power. It's like it's yeah. It's like a literal in-universe representation of that burden that Madoka feels like she is on the world, you know, and for other people, right? It's yeah. It's oh man. And I guess in that sense, it's like I guess I have to pray. I don't know. This will be hard, but if Homura in some way can accept what Madoka is going to do, which I already know is going to be sacrifice herself in some way for everything, right? This isn't going to go on forever, you know. Um, if Homer is able to accept it, I should be able to accept it too, right? I mean, just the reason why it's so hard for me to accept it is just because, like, again, it's just seeing Madoka say all of this stuff about herself and the way that she feels about herself, right? It's just so hard for me to say that yes, you really do owe the world that much and that you should do this, you know? But I guess like but like what's the alternative? Do I want Madoka to act self-sacrificial and help other people with a lack of understanding of like like you know what I mean? It's like because it is true that a lot of people have done a lot of things for Madoka. I think her um thinking that she's never done anything for anyone else is like the unfair part, right? Like she's being unfair to herself, you know, the her having that feeling, you know. At the same time, it's not like a bad thing exactly to feel the desire to, you know, do good things for other people if they've done good things for you, right? It's just Madoka is so far off on the other end of you know, feeling like she's worthless because of what other people have done for her. Um So it's like what? It's like what would the options be here then? Like that she doesn't think other people have done things for her, so then she sacrifices herself for other people, not thinking that they've done things for her, right? Like that doesn't make any sense, you know? So no matter what, there's always going to be some level of understanding. Like that's what drives the idea of helping people selflessly, you know, is understanding what they have done for you and wanting to help them, right? I mean, for some, unless you're Araraki, right? Um, so like I guess maybe that's an unfair way to phrase it. It's understanding the value that other people hold, right? And that's why you want to help them, right? Like obviously, you know. So it's like what would the alternative be here? That she doesn't see the value that other people hold, you know? Like that's just crazy, right? So the reason why it's so hard for me is because it's like I'm just imagining myself in Homura's shoes, how painful it would be for Madoka to do this, to sacrifice herself, like I'm sure she's going to, and like a gut reaction is that it's almost unfair, right? That after Homura has done all of this for Madoka, that Madoka would just like throw it all away, right? And that's obviously stupid, right? Like I can immediately recognize that that's stupid. That's like a you know that's just as unfair as it is to think that 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 Madoka should you know owe the world all of this stuff, and she sacrificed herself because she's like worthless and owes the world all this stuff. That's just like the other side of it, right? So, man, I guess I feel like I kind of lost what I was even saying anymore at this point. It's just so hard for me to accept this, I guess, and that's just really what it comes down to. I kind of completely lost my train of thought at this point. Because it just comes down to like, there is some level of like, you know, if Madoka does have some kind of responsibility here in some way, right? It's like if Madoka is the only one who can help in this case, who can change anything, who can stop this, right? Who can stop what Homura is doing for her, right? And can stop World Purchase Knocked, right? I mean, that's besides the point, right? That kind of has to be stopped too, alongside it, right? Um, then like, doesn't she kind of have a responsibility too? Right? And that obviously that just completely like me saying that obviously plays completely into like what Madoka feels a responsibility towards the world in general because of what she thinks everyone around her has done for her while she's so worthless, right? So it's like, yeah, Homura is just a representation of that, right? It's just so it's like that's why it's hard for me, I guess. It's because I don't agree with Madoka's initial conclusion that she's worthless and she has to help the world. Um, because she's so worthless and she has to pay people back essentially, right? Um, but I guess I do agree in a sense that she kind of does have a responsibility to end Homura's suffering, right? So it's just so hard to like, man, everyone's fucking dead. Like, how do we fix that, right? I didn't even think about that. Like, what do we do, right? What do we do? How is like what? We're just gonna fix everything for Homura? Everyone else is just dead, If we don't reset the timeline again, what are we gonna do? You know, Sayaka and Kyoko and Mami are just dead, right? I mean, I would say that. I mean, at this point, it feels silly to even try and like analyze this thematically because in a way it's just like everything I've been saying the whole time is just playing out. Right, like, you know what I mean, um it's really this is the ramp up to the conclusion. I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen, right? I know what's gonna happen. um her conversation with her mom before she goes off at the end there is proof enough to me that. So I don't know. I guess it's just, I don't know. This discussion is just my inner turmoil because I can't accept it. So I just can't, And I guess it's just, and I guess in the sense, it's just like what Madoka feels about everyone in her life. It's just, God, God, and and this whole thing that Cube brings up about cows and livestock in relation to like what he's doing with humans. It's very interesting because it feels like a it makes me think about like what I've said about Cube and the whole heat death of the universe thing, like, and how that relates to Madoka and her feeling like she owes the universe and the world so much, right? Because it's like I viewed it in this like abstracted way of like, yes, Madoka, through becoming a witch and doing all of this, she is paying back the world and helping the universe because it's in this crazy, bizarre, abstracted sense of like, releasing energy to prevent the heat death of the universe, which is like a ridiculous prospect. And it's like, I guess in that sense, you know, in that same sense, you wouldn't say that a cow, you wouldn't say that livestock is performing this grand act of self-sacrifice to help humanity. So like Cube's analogy, I can immediately view it as like ridiculous in that sense, right? Because that's just not. If anyone said that that's what, that livestock is performing a noble act of self-sacrifice, that's like crazy. I guess in that sense, it's kind of in the same way that Cube is manipulating people to do this. humanity has captured and enslaved animals, so it's not like they're doing it through their own free will. I guess that's kind of like an important, obvious difference. But I guess it just also, to me, kind of points out the absurdity, I guess, of the whole heat death of the universe thing, which was always kind of absurd. It was always like a bizarre, like, stretch and like taking Madoka's mentality to the extreme. And like all of this stuff. For one, all of these things about these magical girls who throughout history have like, changed the world. It reminds me of the chairs, right? It's like the which I'm talking about, and I talked about in the past discussions, like the chairs that we see in some of the shots. When like I don't know, I'm not gonna recite all the shots, but we've seen them in a few shots of just empty chairs, like looking at two characters having a conversation. It's just it like reminds me of like the weight of like past lives, like looking at you, because they're empty chairs. There's no one there. Um, and it's like that's what like this reminds me of. It's just more. I guess to me, it just feels like just more stuff piling onto Madoka that would like enhance her mentality about owning the world so much. But it's just, I guess, the difference here is again is the situation Madoka is in isn't this bizarre like abstracted thing. It really is something that she, in a sense, has a responsibility to do something about. She kind of really does, right? I guess, and I don't know. I feel like I've said that like 50 times. So I'm sorry. I just it's so hard for me to figure out my own feelings about this because my immediate like emotional reaction to this is that I just wish Madoka wasn't in this situation and that she didn't have to do this and that it wasn't like this and I just but again it's like if Madoka's mom can let her go. Not that I think Madoka's mom understands the full weight of the situation. I just like and I really like what their teacher says here about how it's all about yeah, it's all about trouble with a friend or a boy. Which it's like when you first read that, it's like, oh, their teacher has such a, um, she doesn't understand the full situation, right? But no, it's like that really is it, right? That really is the problem that Sayaka had. It can really be something that small. And it's like, and I'll touch on it briefly. It's like how witches have been tied to suicidality so much, right? All of the witches we've seen have like been leading people to their suicide. It's like losing hope in a sense. I think you can understand like what you could really relate this to in a way, right? Because it really can be something that simple, I guess. God. And I kind of feel like I'm being unfair to Madoka's mom in a way compared to Homura, right? God, I didn't even see the Michelangelo thing up here. But like Madoka's mom, I guess the difference is that Madoka's mom is like an adult. It's Madoka's mom is like separated. The reason I'm saying that she's an adult is because it's the magical girl thing. I feel it's very much, uh, related to being in that point in your life that like Madoka and everyone is in. So I guess it's obvious that Madoka's mom isn't gonna have some crazy like explanation for everything going on with her like Homura does. So I guess what I'm saying is like I feel like I'm being unfair saying that Homura cares so much about Madoka when like Madoka's mom is right there. Um, in terms of like people that Madoka is going to be leaving behind. Um, hmm, it's just different. I guess I don't really know where I'm going with that. It's just like it. I guess it's kind of like just this. Yeah, it's the subject of how they are all growing up, right? Um, that I feel like I kind of like dropped this thread of like discussion at some point throughout the anime, even though I feel like it really is just as relevant to the story in some ways as the whole self-sacrifice and all that stuff, right? I feel like it's just kind of an undercurrent that's there in a less in your face way. I feel like it's too late now to try and retroactively go back to the whole everything that's happened to try and reapply it to that, but hmm, that's something that isn't completely lost on me, I guess. The idea of how of growing up and like what Kyubey is representative of in that sense, right? I guess I just don't really know, like, I don't know. That would be another entire line of thinking I would have to go down. I don't know. Sorry, that might have been frustrating to listen to because I just didn't say anything. And yeah, obviously now that Homura knows. Okay, let's talk about Walpurgis Nacht. Walpurgis Nacht. I wonder if Walpurgis Nacht is in some way gaining strength through Homura resetting over and over again, the same way Madoka is. Because Walpurgis Nacht is just like it's like it's the end. It's the thing that Homer, it's the obstacle for Homura that she has to deal with every time and get past alone without Madoka's help, right? Um, and again, it's like if Madoka wants to help other people so badly, Homura wants to do everything by herself so badly here in this case. It's like their own. It's like they're having opposite reactions to the same situation of like other people meaning so much to them. Um, and Walpurgisnacht, if it gains strength through her resetting, through just like a similar maybe situation through like Madoka gaining strength through her resetting, and in the same sense of like the like same thematic sense too of Walpurgisnacht being like the obstacle she has to overcome by herself, right, without accepting help from other people, which is like the antithesis of like Madoka, um, then that makes sense to me because it would mean it's impossible for Homura to ever defeat Walpurgisnacht alone. Which yeah, that of course, right. So I don't know. I don't know if that will ever be. I imagine that would never be confirmed in any way if that is true. That would be cool though if it is. Hmm. Oh God. Because it really is. It's just like the situation that Homura has put Madoka in. It's unfair in a way, right? It really is. It's unfair. How like she expects Madoka to just let everyone do all of this stuff for her, like specifically her, right? And I guess in that sense, it's like I'm being unfair to Madoka too. I guess it just goes back to the same thing I've already said 50 times about how I guess you can't fault Madoka for feeling like she has some sense of responsibility in the situation, and I guess in a way she kind of does, right? It's unfair to expect her to sit back and let Homura sacrifice herself for her and do all of this crazy shit for her forever, torture herself eternally for Madoka's sake, and for Madoka to sit there and never do anything about it. God, I just yeah, and it's not like Homura can ever win as well because she will never be able to have, just like the opening says, she'll never be able to have that future again, right? It will never go back to normal. She will never be able to have whatever she wants with Madoka and sense of like a normal relationship, have everything work out, have it. So I guess in a way, Madoka is going to be crushing Homura's hope, but not in the way that will turn her into a witch, which is important. I guess it's just yeah, it's the weight of self-sacrifice for both of these characters. I just man, sorry, I think this has been a bad discussion. I feel like I just keep starting up things and then not finishing them. And it's just because I want to watch the final episode so badly. And I feel like again, I don't know. I just can't because I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen. I know that it just I feel like I just have to see what the end is and in what sense Madoka is going to sacrifice herself for, what the outcome of it will be, and like that will decide my feelings on it, I guess, right? Maybe that's not even fair though. Maybe I should be happy based off just Madoka's decision in the first place, you know? Like because I've been saying over and over again, here we're pretty much getting into the conversation, so I might as well talk about it now. Like I've been saying over and over again that I'm not happy with Madoka's decision to sacrifice herself for others and to feel this desire to help other people if she doesn't understand how important she is to other people in the first place, right? If she doesn't understand like the actual consequences of sacrificing herself for other people, then I'm not okay with it. You know, like she has to understand her own self-worth and what she means to others, right? And that's literally just what is established in this, you know. So and like the reason why I'm struggling so much with this, the reason why I'm struggling so much with this is because I'm realizing now that she literally has just explicitly given me what I've been asking for this whole time. It doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it any easier for me to accept that she's going to do this and that she kind of has to do this, right? Um because I guess even if I excise from my mind all of her self-loathing thoughts and all of that stuff, even if I accept fully that she is going into this understanding everything that I've asked her to understand in all of my discussions for this entire anime, I literally still just like I just have to think there has to be another way. There has to be something else she can do. There's just no way this is the answer, right? But it just is, right? So yeah, I am Homura. I can't God. And yeah, and it's like her mom, I mean, God, dude, I'm gonna cry again. Like, and her mom just asks what I've wanted Madoka to understand this whole time. How much the people around her do care about her. How much, you know, it's going to hurt other people, right? That this shouldn't come from a place of self-loathing, and that she has to like it's not the self-sacrifice isn't meaningful if it doesn't come from a place like this. If she doesn't understand what she's sacrificing, which is herself, and what she means to everyone around her, you know. And I guess she does, right? I assume Homura has helped her understand that now. And yeah, and I mean, yeah, it just comes down to what she says, right? If she really does have a responsibility to do this, if it really is only her that can do this, and I guess it is, then I guess she does have to do it. It's just like just is that really it? It's just like I'm struggling with like the idea of fate here. You know, it's like is that really it? Is that just it? Is that just Madoka has to do this and that's it? She doesn't get to, you know. But I guess it really is. It's just the other way around. It's like what she's going to live on, everyone else will die. You know, like that's not. She has the if she understands how much she means to other people, she understands what she's sacrificing. She understands how much she means. She understands what other people mean to her. She has the right to do this with herself, right? It's just like I and yeah, I guess she does, right? It just doesn't make it any easier. So I guess that's really it. I don't know. I feel like this was a terrible discussion in terms of like I don't know. People probably I didn't really do much thematic analysis in terms of anything other than just crying about what's going on here and me not liking it. Just like personally. So but I guess that's just it. Like Homura has to give up hope. Not not in the sense of like everything she's done has been useless, but in the sense of like she has to give up on Madoka. Because I guess in a way, just like what Homura has been doing has been taking that responsibility and that right from Madoka, you know. Oh God. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. I just don't. I can't. Like I. Ah, okay. I don't know. All right. I guess that's it, and that's like what we're doing. I just feel like this is something I can't be happy with ever. You know, like maybe I can be. Um, I don't know. I guess that's it. I just have to watch the last episode and see. So yeah, I guess that's it. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I'm depressed, but I shouldn't be. I should be happy. I shouldn't be happy though. So it's very bittersweet, I guess you should say. Because Madoka did what I wanted, right? That's what I've been saying this whole time. You know, I wanted her to have this revelation of her own value and the value that she has for others. It just sucks. She's only going to have it for 5 minutes. So that's it. Okay. Leave a comment, tell me what you think. I'll see you in the next one.